I have unpacked Standards 6A and 6B for the NCEL General Curriculum exam. For Standard 6, it says, understand major developments in the history of the United States from pre-colonial times to the present. And Standard 6A says, demonstrate knowledge of the indigenous people before the arrival of the Europeans. And Standard 6B says, describe European exploration and the settlement of North America. So I've broken down these standards. First, I need to go look for the embedded concepts of Standard 6A and 6B, but I broke down Standard 6 as well. The first thing I need to do is understand major developments in the United States, and the time periods that I'm focusing on are from the pre-colonial times to the present. Now I get down to 6A and 6B. For the embedded concepts of 6A, I'm to show the knowledge of the indigenous people in the United States prior to colonialization. For 6B, I need to be able to describe the exploration and the settlement of the Europeans in North America. And I figured that I should probably know the different European explorers and the successful as well as the unsuccessful settlements in North America as well. Next, I'll look for the critical content of Standard 6A and 6B. I need to know the different Native American tribes living in North America, and I probably need to be familiar with their lifestyles and cultures prior to the Europeans. So how did they live and what was life like for the Native American tribes in North America? The critical content for Standard 6B, I need to know and be able to describe the first European explorers and about their exploration in North America. And I've actually listed some people, the European explorers that probably are important, like Christopher Columbus, Ponce de Leon, Francisco de Coronado, Cortez, there should be a comma here, Cartier, and Sir Francis Drake. These are just a couple, and I figured I can use this as the springboard to see if I know anything else. Christopher Columbus, I wasn't sure if he was going to be on the exam, but I'll probably study over him just in case, since he didn't really land in North America, but he is an important European explorer. I also need to know and be able to describe the European settlements of North America, so I figured, probably Jamestown, the Lost Colony, and Plymouth. Next, I broke down the key skills of Standards 6A and 6B. I need to understand the key events in United States history to present day, so that's Standard 6. For Standard 6A, I need to demonstrate that I know about the indigenous people or the Native Americans prior to the arrival of the Europeans, so their lifestyles and cultures, as I said before. I also need to describe and know the European explorations and settlement of North America. The key verbs I highlighted in yellow, I need to understand, demonstrate, and describe. For the core task of 6A and 6B, I definitely need to review over resources and become familiar with the history of the indigenous people or Native Americans in the United States. I need to review over the different tribes and how they lived and just a little bit about their lives. I also need to review over and know the European explorers and their explorations, as well as the European settlements in North America. I have a couple resources that I've found to be really useful. The first resource gives a little bit about the Native American history and some of the different tribes. The next resource gives the basic history of the explorations of North America. So, these are the very, beginning of the explorers coming to North America, and I found that to be really useful and helpful. The next source actually gives the name of European explorers, and it's a really brief summary of what they did in America, but it also gives the country they're from, and I figured that I could use that information to do a little bit more research on them if I need to. And the last resource that I found describes some of the early settlements of the Europeans, which would be like Plymouth, Jamestown, the Lost Colony, etc. So this is how I unpacked Standards 6A and 6B.